Hi everyone, welcome to the intuitive card reading for October 14th through 20th. You guys know the drill. Please like this video, please subscribe to this channel, please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week. What else? Comments down below, just be kind. That's all I ask. I'd love to hear how this reading resonates with you, how it might not resonate with you. And any comments in general would work. So, all right, guys, same three decks shuffled, but different order. I believe different order, yeah. And then same spread as usual for the weeklies. I haven't changed it in a while. This intuitively feels good. So let's roll up my sleeves and get going. Let's see what we need. All right, we have rescue. Okay, so sometimes when the rescue... Oh, these cards are bending. And I just made it 10 times worse. Okay, so sometimes rescue can seem more in the negative, but I'm getting a more positive type. Is this working? Okay, I'm getting more of like a positive type thing with this rescue. So we need to be rescued. Meaning that we need to be, and this could be, and actually it does feel more so like this. I know I read for the collective, by the way, so this isn't a specific sign or life path or anything like that. This is for the collective, so there's a lot of you guys out there, so it may resonate differently for you guys, but for the majority of you guys, it definitely does feel like we need to rescue ourselves. We need to, and we've been kind of getting like a lot of hints over the last couple of weeks or last couple of months about pulling ourselves out of something dark, pulling ourselves out of something, out of survival mode, pulling ourselves out of something and really rescuing ourselves, like being, not necessarily being placed in that victim archetype that sometimes we get that is kind of keeping us stuck. So we need to kind of rescue ourselves from something. Like there's something that, like basically Spirit is saying, like for us, there's something that we need to pull ourselves out of, get ourselves out of. I also, the word distraction keeps kind of coming up for this. I call this the intuitive reading because I read intuitively. So I'm always, committed to telling you what I get, even if it's a little off from the card, because these are also oracle cards. So they could be more interpretive basically. But I'm definitely getting this word distraction. Like just be careful of distractions. I feel like we need to hear that. And pulling ourselves away as well from distractions. Okay, so not just pulling ourselves from a dark place, not necessarily pulling ourselves, from survival mode. Yes and yes, but also pulling ourselves away from some type of distraction of some kind and rescue ourselves from ourselves almost. Like it's kind of saying like, what are you rescuing yourself from? Kind of like ourselves and what keeps us, how do I say this? What keeps us back, I guess is the word I want to say. What keeps us back and from moving forward. Let's see what action needed says, actually. Athlete. Okay, dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower, and strength of spirit. Okay, so this means action needed. So this is like doing the sprint. This is about going the distance. There's another card in here that actually says going the distance. I would be interested to see if that comes up. That's in the wisdom of the oracle. But athlete is about doing your best work. It is about willpower. It is about discipline. It is about, again, going the distance, strength, all of that stuff. So what we need is it's saying like kind of tapping into this archetype of ours of the athlete of like doing our best work, doing the best that we can, pulling ourselves out again from, and I can see how these two are linked here, pulling ourselves out of, quote unquote, negative or bad place, or rescuing ourselves from ourselves kind of deal. But athlete is about going the distance and doing the thing. It's about being the best that you possibly can be. So it's under action needed. So we need to really start becoming the best that we possibly can, and start really working on that. Okay. And that's one way to rescue ourselves, right? I love that. But let's see what issues and challenges are this week. So let's see. Issue. Fork in the road. We had this one, I think, last week, right? It was either the monthly or the weekly. I can't exactly remember, but no, it was the weekly. Yeah, it was the weekly. And that was, I think it was under change, to be honest with you. So was it under change or was it under challenge? Either way, it's an issue. The decisions that we have to make, and we're going to start having to make whether it's one big decision or small little decisions, the fork in the road is definitely pointed more towards path A or path B. So usually two decisions. It's more, do I want to say black and white? Kind of. It's usually yes or no. It's just more kind of straightforward. So we're having an issue with making decisions in our life about what path that we want to go down. So this should just be choosing what path we want to go down, having a decision to make. So we're a little bit unsure of the path. Let me pull a challenge to see if we get anything from here. Self-trust. Okay, yeah, trusting ourselves to make the right decision, trusting ourselves to go down the right path, et cetera, et cetera. So there's something here where we're not necessarily trusting ourselves to make the decisions that we want to do. So that's basically the main issue this week. If it was, gosh, sometimes I feel like I should watch the videos before I do to refresh my memory from the previous week. Pretty sure it was in change. So, and obviously it's happening, but we're having issues with that. Okay, we're not necessarily. And I think last week the energy was more about who's coming with us. Now it's more about, do you trust yourself that you're doing the right thing? Is that you're doing the right thing for you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe, I don't have anything about relationships quite yet. We're still early on in the reading, but maybe we figured out who's coming with us, who we want to come with us, who we want to be surrounded with, the kind of people, the kind of community, the kind of tribe. But now we're just not necessarily trusting our decisions. So there's that coming up this week. What's under change? This deck I am bending all the cards like crazy in this deck. Okay, let's change. Okay, magical child, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. This is great, a great mindset for this week. I love that we got this. I love that we're starting to see things a little bit more positively. We're seeing things in the potential, and we're seeing our limits fall away. I think there was a card last week or maybe the week before about our limits. Our limits dissolving, and basically seeing ourselves as seeing our potential, seeing that we don't have any limits. And that's what this is about. This is about when you go, when you're a child and everything is magical and everything seems possible. And so what's changing is that mindset about us. Things are becoming more likely for us, and maybe likely is not the right word. It's almost like you're starting to see how your dreams can become a reality. Okay, and that is just magnificent. I don't know what else to say except magnificent, because a lot of you have been, as far as the collective goes, have been stuck, or again, that survival mode I keep talking about. I'm telling you, from 2020 to 2025, some of you guys are ending it this year, but mostly some of us are going to be next year. But there's a good 3, 4, 5 year period where a lot of us are not doing the best. Things are, it's a very trying and difficult time for some people. And again, if you've been thriving, that's great. But, and maybe if nothing has been quote unquote wrong, and maybe you've been on autopilot, this is also still like a really great thing, because basically it's saying like, okay, now you're actually going beyond what autopilot is for you. Your everyday routine, the things that you've been doing on and off for the last, in monotonous routine for the last, that doesn't make you happy, that doesn't make you feel alive. And this is basically saying, hey, you're starting to really believe your potential, really believe it. It definitely feels more like mindset, not necessarily things are coming to fruition, but we all know mindset comes first. If you believe that it's possible, it is possible, okay? And that's what this is saying here. So I love that. Okay, we just pulled from there. Focus, what do we need to focus on? Serendipity. Okay, so this is really about things that come together, quote unquote coincidences, which I don't believe is a thing. Hashtag no coincidences. I'm putting that on my tombstone when I pass. So, because it's so true. Nothing happens by accident. I just do not believe it. So things that are serendipitous, synchronistic is another way to say this. So focus on the things that flow, focus on the things that come together for you. And the more we focus on that, the more it will happen. And the more, faith that we will have that things will continue to go this way, because we want flow over force, remember. Okay, we have oh my God, I'm not saying this right. God, I'm not saying this right. I'm not going to say this right, guys. Please, ingenuity. I'm just going to use ingenuous, okay? Because I can actually say that. Sorry, guys. I still have a brain issue, so forgive me. Also, the other one that says the dynamic card, the dynamicism. Yeah, it always trips me up. But anyway, ingenious means brilliant. It means, at least the energy is coming through, brilliant, like, not thoughtful, but let's go with brilliant, and let's just say, because it's under reflect, so we think about it, something that in reflect always comes with like some really good journal prompts, basically. And what we can say about this is think about what makes you, what do you do better than anyone else? What are your, and I guess I want to say, like, here's the thing that's coming up with this. It's not necessarily so it's funny that we have potential here, because I did already mention this, things that make you feel alive. This is almost reflecting back to what we're actually good at. Not necessarily what makes us feel alive, what we're actually good at. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean what you're passionate about, what brings you purpose, but this is about reflecting on things that you can do better than anyone else. Okay, because that's going to come in handy in the future. That's what I'm getting for this. So what can you do that's very, very niched and unique to other people? I guess from other people. And definitely reflect on that, because it's going to come in handy when it's time for you to really start reimagining. Well, when you pick a path, but also when you start reimagining what your potential actually is. So, yeah, ooh, that's a good one. I like that. So basically Spirit is saying, like, we're not necessarily talking about what makes you feel alive, what feels purposeful, what feels passionate to you. We're saying, what do you actually naturally do better than other people? So keep that in mind and reflect on that, that's for sure. Woo! All right, Goddess. Oh, I love this energy. Responsibilities. Okay, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Okay, so your responsibilities are to tap into that inner goddess. And again, this could be for males too, because this isn't necessarily gender specific. This is basically saying tap into your yin energy. And so our feminine energy is receiving, is sensuality. So it's feeling, pleasure, nature, life force, all that stuff. Being. So basically it's saying, responsibility wise, just be responsible for all those things and don't neglect them. Okay, so just throwing that out there. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Oh yeah, guys, down below, if you have any questions too, I don't know if I mentioned that, but questions as well as comments to go down below. Okay, Treasure Island. Okay, money and finances. Yes, Treasure Island. This is such a great one for money, finances, and career. So basically this is saying not necessarily hidden treasure, but finding the treasure. So, oh God, this is so good. If there's something about money going on this week, that you are, so basically it's saying like finding money, like extra money that you weren't counting on, or weren't counting on, or were not foreseen, but you do I want to say stumble upon it? Kind of, but it's basically saying in abundance, basically. And it's not like I'm gonna be honest, it's almost feeling like maybe like a one-off, where like how I would describe this is like not necessarily a raise, because that's like a oh, excuse me, that's like almost like a permanent bump. It would be more like a bonus versus a bonus, and Treasure Island is more bonus energy, right? So it's kind of like something happened. So yeah, so we can use that as a literal example of you might get a bonus this week, or know that you're getting a bonus this week, or something like that. But there's something that or you figure out that you're entitled to a back pay from something, from unemployment or something, or disability or whatever, something along those lines. Like it feels like you stumble upon, I keep wanting to say stumble, so I'm going to go with it, stumble upon a treasure of some kind, abundance of some kind, prosperity of some kind. So it doesn't actually, I know it's under money, finances, and career, but it could be more on the career side, where you get an opportunity that maybe it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and that will lead to more abundance and prosperity and maybe power, wealth, all of that stuff in the future. But it almost just feels like some kind of one-off is happening, and it's a really, really positive thing. Yeah, I don't think I can explain that anymore, but finally we have something that's not just like cool your jets, don't worry about money, and it's just kind of like, okay, we get that, spirit, thank you for the message, but it's nice to hear that something, that treasure is actually coming to us. Okay, surprise, patience. Okay, so we are going to be surprised at, this one is pretty short and sweet, surprised at how patient we are with a particular situation. Could be with our kids, could be within our relationship, could be that, God, talk about, talk about patience on a healing journey, right? So maybe something, you get rewarded in some type of way for your patience, but I think most of you guys would be surprised at how patient you are in some kind of circumstance or experience or situation of some kind. And that could show you how far you've come and how far you've grown, how much you've grown. Friends, upside down companion, ooh, betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. Okay, I don't love this for friends. Betrayal by using. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, guys. There might be some kind of betrayal of some kind. I don't love it, but I'm committed to tell you what's coming through. Feeling like you're betrayed. I'll be honest with you. It does not feel like a huge thing. Like a huge betrayal would be finding out that your best friend is messing around with your ex or something, or your current relationship or something like that. Something that feels like, or family member or something. Some kind of betrayal. Of some kind, like that to me would be pretty big. This feels like minor-ish, and I will say too that it might. So it's really about perception, but it might feel like a betrayal when it's not really a betrayal, because I think everybody can agree that finding your best friend in fooling around with a significant other is really behind your back, very much a betrayal. And it's, I think, 99.9999999% of people would say yes, but this almost feels like it's up to interpretation, and it's by your perception, and so that means that you might just feel betrayed and maybe not necessarily hugely betrayed. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to think of an example for this for you guys. Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Actually, how about this one? I know we're up in and I hate to kind of bring it up on this channel, but it is what it is. It's life. Especially if you live in the States, we, sometimes our voting choices could feel like a betrayal. And so I know it's kind of like a hot button issue for a lot of people in friend groups, sometimes in relationships too, where people's choices or their beliefs and their values can feel like a betrayal in some way, shape, or form to some people. And so maybe this week you find out that somebody is for a particular issue that feels like a direct betrayal to you. And so that's the closest thing I can come up with for an example right now. because I actually see it between a lot of friends. I've seen a lot of relationships end because of these types of issues. But, and I say, you know, not invalidating anybody or anything, but it's really your perception. Because I'm starting to realize, kind of suspected all along, that morality, people have different moral compasses, and they look at things differently. Could look at things a few different ways, and so that could feel like a betrayal to some people. So that's the best example I can get. Hopefully you guys understand that, but it feels like a you know, or it could be like another good example for this is like, if you feel like you know somebody and they do something like out of character and it feels like a betrayal in a way. That could also be this feeling, this energy that's kind of coming through, and it kind of takes you by surprise in a way. Another surprise. Maybe you're patient with it, and you know, coming through with the surprise energy here. Yeah, like, and it makes you feel like you don't even know them at all, you know? Could you be doing that and somebody else could be, maybe you step out of character and somebody feels that way about you? Yeah, maybe, but I definitely do feel like it's like the people around us, somebody around us. Could be a coworker too, I will put it that way, but it takes you by surprise, and whatever it is, you could feel like you never really knew them, you don't really understand, you feel like you don't even, know them anymore. But again, it doesn't feel big, it doesn't feel huge, like not a huge betrayal or anything like that, but it does feel like it leaves like an icky feeling in our souls, where we just feel like, oh God, this doesn't sit right with me. Okay, this is some icky energy coming through over here. So sticky, icky energy. So very interested to see how that comes to fruition for you guys. Let me know down below. But that was some interesting stuff going on. Let's see if relationships are a little bit better. Okay, so this is logical. So anytime the logical card comes through, it's saying think of things with like a more logical, structured type thinking, more critical thinking. So use your skills when it comes to your romantic connection, and that's really it. It's really about being more curious, but also using more of like a logical mind, not letting our assumptions run away with assumptions, essentially. Our thoughts run away with assumptions is really what I'm trying to say. Just try to stay very logical, very grounded in your romantic connections this week. Important. Love. Of course love is important. I mean, there's not too much more I can say on this. It's important that you stay loving. That could be from this companion card upside down. This could be also with our romantic connection. This could just be in general. It doesn't have to be just with other people. This could be with ourselves, loving ourselves. It's important, super important. Loving others, of course, but also loving, there's so many different kinds of love. Pet love, love of nature. Be kind to the environment, guys. Be very, very kind. Just it's important to make sure you're not unloving this week, right? And nobody ever wants to be unloving, but we know what the opposite of love is. It's ego. So just watch. So basically, to me, this is saying watch your ego. Okay, this is just another way of saying that. Okay, health and wellness. We have detective, great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Okay, finding out the truth, playing the detective. Boy, I can give you a million examples for being chronically ill with detective, because I've been a detective my entire experience with this, which means that, yeah, I do use discernment, observation, and intuition, right? To figure out what's wrong with me and how to heal and seek out the truth, essentially. So I am the detective, and this is basically about being curious. I already mentioned being curious over here in the romantic connection. So it also comes with the detective. Be curious, ask questions. Whatever kind of journey that you're on about your health and wellness, ask questions about your health. Don't just, ignore things about your body, about your mental health. Don't ignore those things. Ask questions, be the detective, be curious about it. Seek answers, just don't take things at face value, etc., etc. Could be something even more surface level, like you're getting I don't know, you go to a wellness spa and you're getting like a new vitamin drip. Please, guys, please. As somebody with a vitamin toxicity, please ask questions about and do your due diligence, do your own research, okay? I don't mean to keep putting this in the, physical health world, but it's all I've known for the last like three and almost a half years. But just be very, very curious, do your own research, seek out the truth no matter what. Do not take it at face value. And I feel like a lot of us need to hear that this week. And in general, that's like a good life lesson in general. Okay, and then overall outcome, orphaned. Okay, don't love that either. Okay, so these corners here I don't love. So more icky energy. That's my new word, guys. I like using the word icky. Sticky icky. Okay, orphaned. So this is always about feeling lonely, feeling alone. This energy definitely feels very potent for the week, and it might be like an underlying energy that we might feel throughout the week, because I'll be honest with you, I didn't pick up any of that type of energy, even though I will say the first two rows here really don't have much to do with other people. Okay, so that is interesting, but it's not necessarily giving me clues to this orphan card, like this orphan energy, because this is coming through pretty strong. So it's okay to feel lonely. And also too, I will say this. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going on like two different tangents here. So let me finish my first thought. My first thought is okay to be lonely. And it's okay that you feel that it will pass. And I feel like I need to say that, and you guys need to hear that. The second thing I want to say is, my thing is, when we're feeling lonely, it's usually because we're in a desperate need for not just human connection, but to connect to ourselves and something bigger than us. And how do I say this? I love that it kind of is full circle here, as it usually is, with the rescue card there. We need to rescue ourselves. We need to save ourselves. And save ourselves from loneliness, save ourselves from pitying ourselves, save ourselves from feeling sorry for ourselves, from feeling hopeless, like whatever it actually is, we need it. We need to rescue ourselves from this almost like black hole that we're in. It's kind of dramatic that I just said black hole, but like, if this despair is maybe a better word. Any kind of despair, or I already said the word pity, like that kind of thing. We need to really help ourselves to help ourselves, basically. And so, but I do want to say that the 5 is on this card. So to me, that means change. Okay. And I love that we have magical child, which is a really, really positive thing. We're really going to start seeing our limitless potential, which is wonderful. So that will help pull us out, but we need to pull ourselves out if we're in a place of despair, hopelessness, depression. And again, it's not like it's a bad thing. Like, it's not a negative thing. It's just Spirit is asking for us to really help us help ourselves. And that really is definitely, I have the title for the video right here because it's pretty obvious at this point. It's ending with it, beginning with it. Okay. So yeah. So that's really what it's about. And like I said, these two corners here are, I don't love, but again, as I always say, anything that would be considered negative is, when you go through it and you can reflect on it, is it really a negative? If it, really taught us something and we've come out of it, better than we were. So anyway, the long run, there'll be positives. Let's put it that way. So, okay, guys, that's it. That is it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'm loving it. And I'll see you guys in the next week. And then we're already, oh my goodness, aren't we halfway through? Yeah, we're halfway through, basically, more than halfway through. So have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. All right, guys, bye.